cloud. Okay, there, I figured it out. Goodness. Okay, so we are, and now I need to reshare, don't I? All right, sorry guys. Okay, and we are back to the big screen. And actually, I'm gonna go put that back over here. Okay. Alrighty, so always just the easiest thing to do to access zip forms is start in CAR. Oops, I was signed in. Anyways, just sign into your CAR site, and from there you can access right here, access Realtor Secure Transactions, and click on that to get into zip form and click on access zip form. If you don't ever see that page, there is right at the top, it says transactions. You can click on that as well. And then you just click continue to transactions. I'm sure a lot of this is old hat for most of you, hopefully by now, but just in case anyone hasn't been doing a lot and needs a little refresher.
Get in
there. Let's see. You're on, just scroll, Joe.
This is much better. Don't you think?
There you go. See it on the left side there where it says zip forms
Good.
transactions?
I'm glad
There we go.
we made that change.
Okay. So just an overview of zip forms. Hey, Ray.
Okay.
You can set it
Can
up.
you print the email blast or is it just always email?
Hey, Mari, can you mute?
Sorry.
No worries. Yeah, that's a great reminder. Everybody online, if you will mute unless you have a specific question, that would be great so that there's not a lot of extra noise. Okay, so you can set up zip forms to come up to the whatever first page you want. Like if you like to start at your dashboard, you can set that up. If you want to start right in the transactions page, you can set that up. Your navigation for zip forms is really this blue bar up here at the top. That's how you're going to find everything you need to go to. And we're going to go mostly into templates today. So we'll set that up in a minute. If you haven't gone into your settings, your profile recently, I suggest you go in and make sure everything's updated and set the way you want. Like for instance, I hadn't put in the address change for this office, right? So every time I got a form, it had the wrong address on it. And so just a good thing to, just check in periodically and make sure it's set up the way you want. So all you have to do is you just click on me. You're going to get a little drop down here that has your information. Here's the correct address. And then you click here on profile and settings. That's going to open up a screen. There's about 6 different things you can do there. So you can see this lighter blue bar across the top is your navigation here. And you want to just go in and make sure everything is the way that you want it. The couple of things that I would suggest that you check on is your office. If you click on office, make sure it's got the correct address and the phone number you want to show up on all your listings, on all your forms, on everything. And then over here in settings, you can click on settings, and this is where you can link your DocuSign account. So if you fill out forms in zip forms and you like to send it for signature right from here, you can link your DocuSign account. If you've never done that, you'll see this will instead say link your DocuSign account, and you just have to go and sign in. And once you've done it once, it holds that information. So you don't have to sign in every time you access it.
I don't know, having difficulty. I cannot figure out how to get to the page that you've got with all the menu across the top.
So click on me.
Okay. Well, all it says is hi, William to me, because I don't have a me. Or is it way back up in the corner?
It might be. So let's see. So you're still on CAR. You need to get into, so click on Transaction Center.
Okay.
And then you're going to go to Zip Forms.
Okay.
This is just a little different way in.
Yeah.
And then scroll. Oh yeah, you don't do this usually.
Yeah.
There you go. And then click on Access Zip Forms, and then you'll see it.
Gotcha. There we go. I just didn't scroll down.
Yep. Yeah, often if you can't find the save button or the either save or the next action continue, then scroll your screen because it's probably right below the line. It's right below the bottom. So also in here in settings is your notifications. So you can set what landing screen. So that's when you first open Zip Forms. You can have either the dashboard or you can have your transactions. Just depends on what you like. And we're going to work on templates today. So this is a good time to look at your template preferences. And you can have it so that automatically imports template data to the transaction when a template is applied. I recommend this so you do more work up front. And then every time you have a transaction, it automatically brings all that information into each form. And then you also can do apply broker and agent information. I like to have both of those checked because I want to do the work today. And then when I go to do a transaction, it automatically populates all that information. Let's see what else is in here. If you like, yeah, okay, that's all I do on this page. All right. So we're gonna go now. Oh, and if you want to have a little photo on here, see how I have a photo? All you have to do there is you actually click, once you've clicked on the photo and the screen comes down, you click on your own photo, and that will include a photo on some of your communications. So if you like that, you just click on here and then add a photo from your desktop. All right, any questions about profile settings? That's just a little, the more we do today, the less we have to do later. Is my theory on all of this. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop over to transactions. What I suggest you do is you think, to templates, is think about how you like to manage your transactions. And what I mean by this is, do you want all of the information up front, or do you prefer to have a little cleaner, like in your transaction, less documents until you need them and add them later? So what I do is I have a new listing template. So what a template is, if I need to step back a moment, a template is, what it does is you apply a template when you start a new transaction, and it brings in all the forms that you have in that template that you want for that transaction. So this is what I mean. So for instance, when I do a new listing, I just like the listing agreement and a few different forms. And then later I add in this template, which is all of the disclosures. So I don't like them to come all in at once, but you might want to do that. You may just have listing and have it bring every document that you want. It's just up to you how you want to have that set up. I like it to be a little cleaner when I start. So like a new listing, when I first apply this template to a new listing, it simply has the RLA, it has the possible representation, it has the, in our area, we have the MLS requires, if we don't put a property on the market right away, that we have this authorization to exclude. And then I also just bring over the TDS and the SPQ because I like to give that to people, a hard copy of it when I have signed the listing agreement. So I don't do all the other million disclosures right now, just because I like it to be a little more simple, and then I bring those over when needed. But you can absolutely do it in whatever way you want. So just think about that, how you want to set that up. And then when you want to set up a new template, you just click here on new. And it's going to ask if you're setting up a template for a listing or a purchase offer. So I'm going to do a purchase offer today as a sample. Listings pretty much exactly the same. You just put different forms in it, right? You've got to create a template name. So I'm going to say sample offer template. There you go. I probably already have one called that. You have to choose what type what category it is. So if it's a residential, I don't typically do all these, the condominium, I just do residential. It's a general one, and then I can change it if it's something more specific. You also may, after you create your first 2 templates, you may want to do one for vacant land. If you ever do that, you also may want to do one for manufactured homes, if you do those. You know, you can make just small tweaks to them. Now, this is really important. Do you want, when you set up a new transaction, do you want this template to automatically be applied to that transaction, right? So when you open up a new transaction, you say, okay, new purchase offer. You can set it up for a template to automatically be applied to that transaction, or you can say no. So what you might do is, if this is your initial offer template, yes, I would want this to automatically apply. I'm not going to do that today because I already have one. I don't want it to do that. But you can set it up how you want. You can also set it up to apply to all new transactions. So if there's a document or 2 that you want to have on every single time you open a transaction, you can create that template here too. All right, so you have to click save, always click save. And this is what you'll see. You have what is essentially just a completely blank template. There's a few different things you can do. You can add a document directly from your computer, which we'll do that in a minute. And I can't see the edge here. Oops, I made that way too small. Hold on, I couldn't see what I needed to see. Here it is. Sorry. Anyways, okay, I don't know. Hopefully you guys can see this. On the top right hand is a lighter blue square that says all forms. Just like adding a form to a transaction, this is how you're going to add forms to your template. So you click on the all forms, and then you can scroll down and choose whatever you want. I do recommend starting with a cover sheet. That way you can always add information in. When you are in a transaction, if you add information into the cover sheet, then it automatically populates that information in every new document you add to the transaction, right? So if you put the address in that one, you never have to put the address in later, or the APN, or any of that information. So I really like to have a cover sheet in there. So we're doing a purchase agreement, right? So I'm going to add in, you just click on anything on the right, add in purchase agreement. I'm going to add in, what else do I need?
Agency.
Possible.
Yeah, agency relationship.
Yeah.
What was the purchase agreement? Was it residential or? Yep.
And you can do the abbreviation, so RPA, right? If you type that in, it's going to automatically populate it there.
Oh, okay.
Agency, so any of the documents you need. I don't see it here. Anyways, confirmation of real estate agency. There you go. It took me a minute. Yep, under confirmation. Don't forget that in your forms library, right up here where it says California Association of Realtors, you can click on that and it's going to give you other options of who might provide forms for you, right? So in Sonoma County, we've got North Bay Association of Realtors. You likely have other things depending on where you're located. So if you need something, if there, you know, if I need something that's provided by Norbar, then I can come in here and get the Sonoma County disclosures and disclaimers advisory. So just take the time and determine what you want included in your template. Now, a couple of cool things that you can do in your template as well is you can add a specific document. So for instance, you could add your like the square foot advisory, right? That's not in CAR, but you want to include it in a purchase offer down the road, or you could add in your TIS form, Whatever documents you have, you can add those in here. You can also do what's called add a placeholder, and I love this. So for that, you also go to add doc, and then you click on create placeholder. And how you can use this is for anything that you want to remember, you need to provide in that transaction. So for me, when I am doing a purchase offer, I want to make sure I remember to provide to get from the buyer a pre-approval letter. I want to remember I get their proof of funds. I want to remember that to have them sign the disclosures IO or some, disclosure document. So you can just add those in here. Pre-approval letter. I can't spell clearly. It's because I'm typing sideways. Approval. I'm just going to do that. And then once you click OK, it adds this placeholder here. And now you can use that a couple of different ways. You can either just use it as a key to remind you to ask for that when you're preparing the letter, or you can actually put those documents in here if you want, if you like to send, not in the template, but in your transaction, you can actually add those in if you want.
Transactions created, you've got that pre-approval thing in there.
Mhm.
When we want to go out and do something, we can just hit that and then upload our pre-approvals and all that.
Yes.
Bank statements.
Yep. Yeah. So you just have a placeholder to here. Okay, here's a spot. You can add that in or just remind you. I always forget to have them to include the disclosure signature page when I send off an offer for signatures. And so I always have that in my purchase template. So it reminds me, don't forget, send off the disclosure packet.
Heather,
Yeah.
Mari, is there a current form that is put out that tells you everything you need if you're doing all the proper forms you need? We used to have them, and I don't know if they're outdated now, but just be a
Yeah,
reminder.
Katie sent out a list a while ago, and
Okay.
I'm sure she could send it out again. The company is creating that website where we're going to have all of that stuff. So that'll be really nice. You can go look at it anytime you want, but we can ask her to resend that out.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's nice to have a list of like, okay, just add all.
I might have it, but I don't.
Especially when you create a disclosure template.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Let's see. Let me look at my notes. What else did I want to go over here? I'll add later. Oh, okay. So a couple of other things you can do in your when you're creating a template. A great thing to do is go ahead and open up the documents and add any information into these documents that is standard that you want for every transaction, right? So you can come into the cover sheet and make sure that buyer's broker information. This is a buyer's template. I don't know why that's completely blank, but it is. So come in and fill out all this information so then it'll automatically populate into every single document. And then when you're done, make sure you do click save. Over here, you can't see it. So that it does get saved. It does it automatically as well. Oh boy, it is just a little hard to manage this with the, you can also go in to the actual purchase contract and go through, and anything that's really standard that most of the time when you make an offer, I'm going to scroll up quickly. I know it doesn't look great, but in here, if you most often have, seller disclosures in 12 days instead of 17, you can go ahead and fill out as much of a purchase offer as possible. And then when you apply the template, there's less work for you to do when you're actually creating the offer. And you're less likely to leave things out, right? Not check a little box or whatever. So like, where is the one thing I always do is who pays for what, right? On that section, here we go. Like this is a great example, right? Who pays for smoke alarms, CO detectors? I always, as buyer, ask the seller to pay for it. Who pays for escrow fees? If you have a standard way, then you can go ahead and fill all this out so that you don't have to do it later. All right, I'm going back over here, hoping that's my back button. And then there's a couple other cool things right along the bottom of each document here. It says set due date. So this is a pretty cool thing. If you say you add in a contingency release form, a CR1. If you bring that in, I'm going to go ahead and do it so I can show you guys. CR, contingency removal 1. Now I might go in and set this due date for my contingency removal 1 so that it reminds me that I need to fill out this form. And so what that is you can have it, they just come standard as none. You can make it a fixed date. Now, you don't want to normally do that in your template, right? Because it's not going to happen next week. But the cool thing is you can create a relative reminder. So if you create relative, you can have it remind you before or after a whole bunch of different date items. So for instance, if you are creating this for contingency removal 1, you can say it's a relative reminder, and maybe it's 5 days after offer acceptance date. Thank you. I'm gonna get a crick in my neck looking sideways like this. Yeah. Now, with that, you have to go in and make sure you're updating when the offer was accepted. If you don't do that, like there's a lot you can do in zip forms or you don't have to. So if that's not something you normally do, then you may say, no, we don't want to do it based on the acceptance date, which is most logical. But maybe you just say, okay, 10 days after I actually write the offer, I want to be reminded, hey, do I need to deal with a contingency, right? So again, you just make it a relative reminder, you save that, and then it's going to pop up on your dashboard. And you can include it if you want. You can go into settings and make it so that it emails you those reminders, which is, I think, pretty cool. One more thing reminding you to make sure you do all the things you need to do, right? Okay. Let's see. Anybody have any questions? How's things going? Is this all making sense?
Yes.
All right.
More sense than it was before.
Right. It just takes a little time to go in and set these up. But again, the more you do now, it makes it so nice. Like I have it so that everything in every purchase contract is already filled out except for the property specific, and the client specific. So it's just quicker and easier in the moment. Because, sometimes we got to write offers quick when it's not convenient. So
Heather, I
anybody
had a question.
online? Yeah, Eric?
On your disclosure package reminder, I assume that there are not disclosure documents in there. That's a reminder to go to your disclosure package where the documents are.
Yes, exactly. It's to go into the transaction and deal with the whatever contingency. Oh, the disclosure packet. Yeah, so let me go back over here. So the way I have it set up is I have a listing template and then I have that disclosure template. And I manually add the disclosure template in later in the transaction. So let me show you what that looks like.
So in the previous template, that's just a reminder.
Yes, that is. So what you could do is, like in your listing template, you could even do a placeholder with a due date reminder saying add in your disclosure package template, or any action items you need to do.
Where does the reminder come? Does it come to your email, or you have to be in car to see the reminder?
So it shows up on your dashboards, or you can set it up. Let me see if I can find this on the fly here. You can set it up in your templates. Okay, so I just went back into my profile and settings. And then you see right here, notification settings.
Yes.
It is right here. See this task/checklist? You can turn on your email notification and what time, when you want it to send a notification. So if you want it to be 2 days before that contingency release is due, then it'll email it to you as well as show up on the dashboard. If you turn this off, it'll just show up on the dashboard.
Great, thanks, Heather.
Yeah, you bet. It's pretty, I like getting the emails because one more, oh yeah, go into the, I need to go into zip forms and deal with something.
Heather, I'm
Yeah.
lost in zip forms again.
Okay,
Quite a bit, and I don't know where to go.
okay, we're gonna take a 1-minute break. I'm gonna go check on Joe and see what we can come up with. So go to Transaction Center. The forms. And you gotta scroll. Drag your little bar down. There you go, access the forms. Yeah.
And
And
I
then,
did it and it threw me out.
oh yeah, and then you'll click on that yellow, once that's yellow. Okay. How are we doing on time? We have plenty of time. We might get out of here early today. You guys can go get your work done, right? All right, any other questions or anything right now?
Just at the very beginning, and you were saying to go in, was it tasks that you go under and then tasks open up?
I haven't gone into tasks today.
What was
I
the
just
thing?
went over the
that you-
due dates within templates. We can look at tasks. You
No,
can
no,
give me
that's
some
okay.
tasks.
I just couldn't figure out what you went into originally to get into the notification settings, or is it? just-
Oh, that's right up here where it says
Okay.
me.
Yeah,
You just go there, click on that, and then profile and settings.
okay,
And then that gives you this notification settings.
really? Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
Get the picture. So,
To change your picture.
I'm gonna have a new picture and I want to add it.
Oh, okay. I'll show, when we're done, we'll just do a little workshop at the end where everybody can pop in and I can walk around and help. And if you guys have stuff online, I can help with that. Okay, so let me show you. So any other questions about creating templates? Any other thoughts on that? Let me just show you one more I have. My listing, new listing template. So this is what it looks like right here if you add a document that you want included. So right here, I have the Veris authorization to exclude document, because that's another one I always forget, right? So I just have it right here so that I know every time I have a listing, it gets added to the transaction and I have it right there ready for me. All right, now, when you go into transactions, any templates that you said you click the box to have automatically added to a new transactions, those will get automatically added. If you want to add a template later on in the transaction, so I'm going over to transactions right now. Oh, okay. I just remembered something in templates I need to show you guys too. But I'll continue on with this. Okay, when you're in a transaction, say here is a sample listing. And I'm going to go to documents. So here's all the documents that were added in automatically at some point. Now, right here, below the lighter blue bar, there's this little, kind of looks to me like a book. It says apply template. You guys all see that?
mhm,
You click on that, and then you get all of your templates that you have, and you can add any new ones. So like, for instance, I wait and don't put all the disclosures in until later. So then now I can add them all in. I just check that box and I click apply. And now it adds in all the rest of the disclosures that I'm gonna need.
Hmm.
All right, so that's how you can easily, did you lose that? So this is in a transaction.
Okay,
And then right here is apply template,
where's the my template?
right here. Oh, do you have any templates created?
The first.
Okay, I'm surprised.
Let me take.
If you guys can't find it, let me know. Finding it? All right.
There it is.
Okay.
Got it.
Good, good. Like I said, I'll walk around at the end and we can go through that. One thing I forgot to show you guys, let me go back over to templates. That is not it. I'm in transactions. I can't see the top of my screen to know what I'm doing. It's really annoying.
Hmm.
Hold on, let me make it smaller again. Oh, it's only going small that way. That's not helping.
Hmm.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. Okay, so now I am back. I'm going to go back over to templates. And it's really nice to have them set up, I think, in the order that you are going to use the documents. All right, so if you pulled in your forms and they're not in the order you like, which often happens, this button right here is your friend, organize. You just click on this, and then it allows you to just move the documents in any order you want. So if you want to rearrange the order that they show up, you can do that. And then once you're done, you just click done organizing. All right. And then that'll be automatically how it comes up every single time. All right. Let's see what else I have. The date, my name. Let's go back. Now I'm going now into tasks. You can set up, if you'd like to have tasks that are reminder. I have way more tasks than I should have because I get notified for a lot of when I just write an offer and it's not accepted, I need to remove that. But when you're in a transaction, going back over to transaction, you can add in tasks here. Sorry, I haven't used tasks in a while and I can't see it. Where is it? Documents. Add folders. I can't find it. Sorry, I haven't used tasks in a while. All right, well, we're not going to go over that because I can't find it. Do you see it?
Right up at the top where it says the transactions.
You have to go to the dashboard to get to it.
Oh, am I on the wrong? Oh yeah, that's a list of my tasks. Urgent tasks. No, I'm not seeing where to add
Across
tasks.
from dashboard across the line.
All right. There's a way to add tasks to each transaction. And I'm not seeing that right now. I'll have to send out information on that because I just haven't done it in a while. Okay. All right. Any other questions on creating templates?
When we get an offer or we're gonna write an offer or we're gonna have a listing, are you guys available to help us create this to start, so you do it the right way and writing that offer and knowing all the questions to ask up front so that you don't have to go back to your buyer or seller constantly and ask, oh, what about this? Or you forgot that we didn't sign this, or and then you look like you're not organized.
Right. So I have a checklist I'd be happy to share with people of all the things that I talk to a buyer or seller about. And so all the questions I ask when they want to make an offer. And then I also have a checklist of all the things I do on either a listing or a selling or a listing or a buying side. So yeah.
That would be
email
great.
me what's that?
I'd like to see that. That would be great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm happy to share that. It's, I would just say, Joe, get someone, someone to work with on those sort of things if you have any questions. But that's how I check myself. I mean, there's a lot of details, so it's easy to forget a little something. A couple of other thoughts on, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing if everybody is good with templates. A couple of thoughts that you might want to consider when you're setting up to help you really organize your contracts is how you are going to save your contracts on your computer. So at times you're going to be saving documents, you know, as you're working with them. And maybe some of you guys that have been doing this a while have great suggestions. I'd love to hear them. One way to do it is for all of your listings. The name that you save them under could be the property address and then whatever the name of the document is. Whereas your buyers could be like, what I do is their last name and then the property address and then the name of the document. So if it's a listing, it just says 131 Vineyard TDS. That's how I save that. And if it was for a buyer, it would say their last name and then, you know, K 131 Vineyard TDS. And that way it's really easy to search by property and it's for listings and it's really easy to search by buyer last name. Does anybody have another way that they do it that works really well? It's really important to be right, you know, be consistent in the way that you save those documents. Otherwise, you're going to spend half your life hunting for them. All right, where is that? What do I call it? You know, so just do something really simple like that. Another thing that I'd like to suggest is that if you create, that's not it. It's not coming up the right thing here. Transactions. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm going to share my screen. It's just going to take a moment. When you are creating a share screen. Okay, hopefully, can you guys see the home light page? I know you can because you're here. It's the people I'm not sure about. I know. All right. This is a little, I'm going to get on my little soapbox or my pet peeve. When you create, oh, here we go, log in. When you create, if you're creating a Disclosures.io package for a listing, I want to really encourage everyone to go in and rename each document in the package. Remember that buyers are looking at this, right? They're receiving these disclosure packets and the buyer's agent. So when you populate, it's going to take forever, of course. When you populate documents into Disclosures.io, what first comes up is the name of the document the way you have it saved on your computer, right? 131 Vineyard TDS. That doesn't mean anything to a buyer, right? They don't know what that is. And so if you take the time, okay, I'm going to stop sharing because sometimes that makes it log in faster. If you take the time to go in there and rename those documents, it really can make it easier for a potential buyer, right? So they can quickly go in, find the pest inspection, find whatever they need. It's not, it's just, oh, there we go. All right. All right, so I'm gonna share again if I can figure out how. Okay, so this is what I mean. When you've got a listing, I'm like hoping I did it on this one, right? It's really helpful to, all you have to do is, so right here it shows all the documents I brought in. And it shows that when I bring it in, this is not what it's called. It's called Bristlecone SPQ, right, in my computer. So you just go right here to rename, and then it's going to give you options. If it knows it's an SPQ, it'll automatically give you an option of seller property questionnaire, and then you just click rename document. It makes it so much easier for buyers to navigate and find what they need, right? We want them to find the disclosures and understand what they're looking at. So I'm gonna
This is like a new language for them.
Right, so I'm not gonna shame anyone here. It's like, I would say 85% of listings come up this way. I mean, this is, okay, they did NHD, County Disclosure, MC. No idea what that is, right? SVLQ. No buyer knows what these things are. So if you just take an extra minute, it really, really helps, I think. I mean, look at this stuff. Visa 87. You know, they didn't even know what to call these things. So if you just take that little extra minute, it really can help you manage that.
Heather, does that only change it in Disclosure IO, or does it change
Yes.
it everywhere?
Yeah, so it's still on your computer, whatever way you coded it, whatever name you gave it, it just is changing it in Disclosures IO so that
Okay,
for the buyers to see essentially. Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, we don't want it to just say seller property questionnaire on our computer because we'd have, you know, a lot of them. So, yeah, so there is that. And then I have one more little tip or trick that I want to give you guys. Now, Mingtree, I think you guys have a document called something like your seller sales sheet. I don't know if you guys can see this. Most of Wine Country Group, we've been using what we call a TIS form. We have to submit with each transaction, right? If you haven't done this already, save yourself a little time. Instead of saving just one master TIS form on your computer, save two. Open it up and go in and fill out as much as you can for a buyer side, right? With your information on the buyer side. And save that as something like TIS. So here's my TIS seller, TIS buyer. Oops, it dropped out, TIS. There we go, TIS. So I have my BHG TIS form master for buyer already filled out with as much information as I can for my buyer side. So I have two master forms. I have a buyer and a seller, and this really makes it so nice. You know, we all are busy and we don't want to have it take any more time than it needs to, right? So it's a simple thing. I've got, when I'm representing the buyer, I just have my information filled out here. Look, my address is wrong. I get to resave that. If you do, like for listings, I typically work with one escrow company. I try to. So on my listing side, the seller side, I have the escrow information already filled out. It's just, it takes you a few minutes less, but it's really worth taking the time now and then making it more, you know, more streamlined when you go to actually do the form. All right.
Where are you keeping that?
I just save it on my computer.
Okay,
Yeah. You can then take and put it in your buyer and your seller templates and zip forms, right? So then that document's just there. Once you get an accepted offer and you're completing everything, you can fill out the TIS right from there.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then does everybody comfortable with doing signatures from zip forms, or do you guys want me to show you that real quick? Sending out a document from zip forms for
Show us,
signature.
please.
What's that?
The DocuSign? Yeah, yes. please
Or
do.
digital, or whatever they call it, yeah. All right, let me go back over. Share screen. All right, let me find it. Okay, here we are. Share. Okay. When you are in zip forms, you can send documents right from here. You don't have to download them, save them as a PDF, and then put them into DocuSign. You can do it right from here. Up here, you need to make sure you go in at some point. If you don't do it now, it'll ask you to, but you go in and sign into your DocuSign account. But it's really simple. When you're in a transaction, let's just say we are on Sample Road and we want, I'm going to the documents. Now you can see right here on the left side, it says e-sign. I'm in a sample transaction, right? You have to be in a transaction to do this. You just click on e-sign, and then it will ask you which documents you want to include. So, oh, it's not going to let me because they're not real. Here, let me go back over to a real transaction. So, because all my things aren't filled out in there. All right, so we're going to pretend I'm going to go into this lovely listing I have coming up in a couple weeks. All right, so now I'm back in that transaction. You can do it a couple different ways. You can click right now on the documents you want included and then click e-sign. A lot of times it makes you just re-click on them. Click, all right. I just can't see everything in here. It's right here, I think. So once you're in the e-sign, you click on new. It's not letting me do it, I think because I can't see it. There we go. All right, can you guys see that now? It was way over in the corner. All right, so I clicked on e-sign and then you just click on new. And then it gives you all the documents in that transaction and you say, okay, I want to send the TDS and my AVID and this, whatever it is. All right, and if there's another document that you don't have in your transaction already, you can add that right here. Just click on add external document and then upload that from your computer. Once you've picked whatever documents you want, you just click close. And it's going to ask you if you want to use DocuSign, or you could use Digital Ink. Digital Ink is ZipForm's own free signing, software. I always use DocuSign just because I use it all the time. I'm the most comfortable with it. And then you can look here again. Let me make this bigger again, now that I can see what I'm doing. So currently it has the documents that I chose. You can right here grab this little 4 arrows. You can, if you want it to be in a different order, you can change the order. You can also add a document here. It lets you add documents all over the place. Once you have it the way you want, over on the far right is the next button. You click on that and it's going to ask you who you want to send this to. All right. If you don't already have someone inputted, you can search. So say, oh, look, one of my sellers isn't there. Howie, I don't know, I'm coming up with some random name. Okay, it's not letting me add. Well, anyways, so I want to say I'm going to add a person. Okay, if they are, it's so frustrating because I can't see what I'm doing. Anyways, well, you can add people right here. Since I can't see what I'm doing, you just click on ZipForm contacts. If there's someone you needed to add, okay, I'm going to add Archibald Frazier. I'm not going to because this is a real transaction, but you can add them here. And then you just click at the bottom. Right there, you click close once you've added them. And then you can change the signing order if you want. If it's checked, that means that they they have to sign in the order listed. If you uncheck it, then it's nice because you don't have, then anybody can sign it whenever they get to it. Just depends on how you want to do it. All right, I have to go back. Why? I don't have any people in here, but anyways, I don't know how far this is going to let me because I didn't check on anybody. So you click next. And then you'll see that it automatically adds in the signatures. Do check them because sometimes they're wonky, but they're pretty darn good. But it's going to add in anytime. I think I didn't add in any people, so it didn't add in any signature fields. You guys know how to use DocuSign, I'm sure. Over here, you can add in signatures and initials when you want, and then you just click send. So it's pretty easy. It'll pop up after you send it. It'll ask if you want to sign right now. So you can go ahead and sign right there. And then you will find it over both in your DocuSign account. So you can go over into your DocuSign and check on it, or you can go back into your transactions and it'll tell you on your dashboard if it has been signed yet or not.
And for anybody who hasn't tried it, there was that back button too. You can go back and put a personal note in.
Okay, say that again?
You can put a personal note if you go where yeah, where
Yes,
Heather
yes,
was
yes, yes.
showing, there's a back
Thank you. That's
button.
a-
Yeah.
Yeah, that is super helpful. Thank you. Let me find it. I was gonna show you, maybe I closed it. Where is it?
I think you closed it.
I think you're right. I think I closed the whole thing and that's, all right. It's just a blank screen. Okay, so what she mentioned is when you have that DocuSign screen open, up on the right-hand side, it says, what does it say, Monica? It says,
I use down at the bottom, you can see there's a back option and back will take you to the cover sheet.
oh, that's not how I access it. Okay. I can pull that up here in a minute, anybody who wants to see it, because there's also a place on the top you click on and it says like edit signature or something. And you just click on that and it allows you to go in and write a note and give them, let them know, hey, this is whatever document, please review and read and sign it.
And
Thanks,
it allows you
Monica.
to add a signature too. If you had like one more person or the escrow transaction coordinator that you wanted to receive a copy.
Yes, I didn't go through all that because I didn't go through the whole way. You're right. You're absolutely right. You can
Sorry.
add in who you want to receive a copy, and you can add in if you need an additional person to sign, anything like that. It's all right there. So awesome. Thank you. All right. Well, that's been an hour and I am here. I'm going to wander around and see if I can help anybody here or anybody online. Does anybody have any last questions or things that they wanted to get covered that weren't?
Amy, sorry. I was wondering, do you put the seller, if you're say you're doing a purchase agreement, do you put the seller's names and stuff into your cover sheet? Or no?
Into what cover sheet? In the transaction?
In zip form, sorry, I wanted to wait and let you get through this, so
Yeah.
wheeling back a little.
I do.
Okay, I do
I'll
too. I
fill
just
out
wasn't
as
sure if
much
it was
as I
weird.
can in the cover, I don't in the template. I do in the transaction. So in the transaction, once I'm doing a specific transaction, then yes, I will fill that cover sheet out as much as I can. So then it automatically populates their name in any place that makes sense.
Okay, the other parties, you put the other party in that you're not representing.
You're saying like, so when you're
So if
doing
you're
a
representing the
buyer-
buyer and you're doing a purchase agreement,
Yes.
do you
If I
put the
know
seller
their-
info on your?
If I know their accurate information, then I will. It's
Okay.
nice to, because then it'll automatically be there. If I don't know for sure their middle initial and if they're a junior, if I don't know all that.
Yeah,
then
how
I
they
will not.
sign.
Yes, sometimes
Yeah.
I even ask for it. What's the
Yeah.
seller's full name?
Okay,
and
yeah,
then
because I've come
otherwise I
across
leave
it a couple
blank.
times where there was a question as to who exactly the buyer was, or, I mean, the seller, and I just
Mhm.
wasn't sure if it was common
Yeah.
practice.
Yes, I typically leave it blank. How about anybody else? If I don't know, because I don't want it to have to be countered out.
Yeah.
What do you guys do?
I only do it if I know for sure, but sometimes I'll go to the tax form and see what's listed there. But even then, like, because they'll do last name first,
Mhm.
and I don't know that they're going to be signing everything that way. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, you can always ask the listing agent, right?
Yeah.
Get it right from
Yeah.
the beginning. Just text them and say, hey, what are the correct sellers' names for the document or whatever. So cool. Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Yeah, anybody else? All righty. Well, thank you for coming, and I'm gonna have to look up how to do tasks because I haven't done them in so long. And maybe I'll have a minute about that at one of the upcoming contract trainings. Great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you guys.
Have a good
And
one.
I'll leave this on if anybody go in there and get your templates, work on those, and I'll be here if you have any questions, all right?
Thank you, Heather.
Yeah, you bet. Hey, you guys online, I'm gonna show how to add contacts. Does anybody else want me to share the screen so you guys can see?
Yeah.
Here we go. I figured it out now. Might as well. Okay. So when you are in a transaction and you are, a couple different ways you can do it. You can add, everything looks so different. Here we go. Okay, up on the top, on the transaction, you can see summary and then parties. You can add a party here. So you, okay, say they're buyer 1. You add in their name, just kidding. And then you would definitely want their email. And then what you do before you click save is you want to save it as a contact. Then when you start to put them in for a new transaction and you start typing their name in, it'll automatically populate with their correct name, their email, any information you put in here.
Okay.
All right, that's how I would, that's how I do it.
Okay, well, that definitely.
Yeah. So like for
much more
instance,
helpful, let's put it that way.
right. So for instance, like when I was doing buyer 2, you can just then, instead of typing them in, you go to the address book. Whoops, I right click. You go to the address book and then you find them. Oh, there's that buyer that I've written 5 offers for. And then you just automatically put them in that way.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Cool, cool. All right, y'all have a good day. Yeah.
Lightning.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah, I was gonna help you with that.
I sent you a text regarding those,